Buenos dias. This is Kai Pacha with the weekly Pele Report. It's an astrological forecast. This one is for the week of 9/11, 2013. It's not that bad, but it's pretty bad. This is going to be a pretty serious report. These are serious times, and there is serious stuff going on. You know, this week and very powerful, very, very, very powerful time, yeah? Next week, Tuesday, but even effective now, Saturn is joined together with the north node of the moon at 8 degrees of Scorpio. And that's not all, yeah? Venus has just gone in to Scorpio. It's actually going to go, it went in there yesterday, Tuesday, 9/10. Venus goes into Scorpio. It's going to be joining together with Saturn and the north node of the moon. The last time we had Saturn conjunct the north node of the moon was in the sign of Gemini in 2002. And the next time we're going to have Saturn conjoin the north node, it's going to be in very late Pisces, 27 degrees of Pisces, in the year 2025. If we are still alive. An old song. So this is like, it's an 11-plus year cycle, 2002, 2013, 2025, and this moves around. I've spoken about it a little bit before. I'm going to go more into it. Yeah, because this we have to look at. Saturn is objectivity. It's Chronos, Father Time, looking at the long-range picture of things. We need to be looking at the long-range picture of things. We cannot be an ostrich burying our head in the sand. This is a time of getting the wake-up call. And it's like Spirit taps us on the shoulder, whispers in our ears, gives us a little nudge, and if we are still asleep, and we are still, in old patterns, we're still getting run by external, conditioning and external authorities, and we're not waking up, then we start getting pushed and shoved and whacked, and the earth starts to shake, and wars start to emerge, and things start to happen bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to wake us up and to help us get it. And right now, if we look at this long-term thing, we're moving into the age of Aquarius. We're in this cycle of the 26,000-year cycle of the great year. Yeah, that great cycle is bringing us into this alignment that we've been experiencing with the winter solstice point conjunct the galactic center, going on for years, but really culminating around this time period. And this is the balancing of the masculine and the feminine. This is a return to union, like I've been talking about. This is the end of separation. This is the birth of the new paradigm. This is the turning of the ages. And this Saturn coming around now in the sign of Scorpio is reminding us evolution proceeds. Do not resist. Resistance is futile and only creates more pain and more suffering. So we want to look at some other of the aspects. The moon is now in Sagittarius. I could go on and on and on for quite some time. Tomorrow, actually on Friday, the moon moves into Capricorn, and it's going to join together with Pluto. And we're going to have this great grand cross going on. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Very, very powerful. Mercury has moved into Libra, 11 degrees Libra. Opposite Uranus at 11 degrees of Aries, squaring Black Moon Lilith at exactly 11 degrees of Cancer. Jupiter and Pluto have moved on. Pluto's at 9, Jupiter's, up 12, 13. But Mars is also then coming at 11 degrees of Leo. Chiron is at 11 degrees of Pisces. If you've got anything at 11 degrees, it's our magic number for this week is 11. Play the lottery, man. It's 11, 11, 11, 11. Today's 9/11. 11 is a master number. And it's really connected with the High Priestess energy, which is the number 2. 1 and 1 is 2 in the Tarot. We want to look at this, because this is Mercury, Lilith, Uranus, Pluto. Now, it was just a couple of weeks ago. When was it exact? August 29th, Lilith came around and opposed Pluto, and I talked about it then. Now she's coming around to square Uranus, and she's got the square from Mercury. Mercury is talking, communication, in the sign of Libra, which is ruled by Athena, Pallas Athena, the goddess of wisdom. It's the scales, it's balance of the masculine and the feminine, the light and the dark. It's time to bring harmony through diplomacy and through nonviolent communication. Mercury. But it's opposite Uranus in Aries. Aries is the masculine, the man. And masculine is different than man. Masculine has more to do with, we are all masculine and feminine. Masculine has to do with the above, the light, the fire and air. In astrology, masculine is fire and air. It's up, up and away, up and out. It's theoretical, conceptual, abstract, cold. I won't say cold, but I'll say removed. It's almost extraterrestrial. It's the above. It's the light. It can burn you. It can be ruthless, non-subjective, just cut you down to size. Has to be balanced with the feminine, the moist, the water and earth, the subjective, the human experience that we all feel, and we all need connection. The masculine is alone and out there with the stars, the ETs, forward in the future, out there. The woman, the feminine, brings the man into his body, into the now, into the feelings, into the human quality. We need both of these. The masculine does the work, and it's the fire, and it's the energy, and it's the change, and it pushes, and it's got the direction, but it needs guidance. It needs human connection and feeling, so that that direction goes in the right way for everybody in the right time, to create community, to create connection, to create oneness. Otherwise, we get wars, like Syria, like Iraq, like Vietnam. We want to go back, because this is now the time. Uranus square Pluto. Very interesting time period, because what? In 1965 and 1966, Uranus was conjunct Pluto in the sign of Virgo. And there we had Vietnam, and we had revolutions, and when we had the hippies coming out saying, no more war, this is bullshit. And they demonstrated, some of them got shot. So we don't need this kind of masculine, power-playing, dominating energy anymore. This is the end of the patriarchy. This is the turning of the ages. This is the time of letting go of the old dominating, hierarchical, cold, ruthless rules, laws, banking, governments that don't care about the subjective, personal, feminine person, that are exploiting and destroying Gaia, the mother, matter. The spirit is masculine, the matter is the mater, the mother. We want to bring together and rebalance this masculine and feminine. And that's what this Saturn is about. It's a time of us being called to task. And it's in Scorpio, the sign of death, endings, letting go of the old forms, structures, authorities. Saturn going through Scorpio, 2.5 years. It's got another 1.5 years to go. But conjoining with the north node of the moon, this is our collective destiny. Our collective destiny now is to get our shit together. And we need to get our shit together when it comes to what? Merging, union, cooperating, intimacy, vulnerability, humility. These are all the prerequisites, for coming together. And then Scorpio is mastery. Then Scorpio is the eagle that soars. And we know that, the prophecies of the South America and the North America is South America is the condor. North America is the eagle. And the prophecies say 500 years of the condor, then 500 years of the eagle, and then 500 years of the condor and the eagle flying together. We have all of these symbols, all of these images of this, this union of above and below, spirit and matter, masculine and feminine, light and dark. We need to honor each other. We need to respect each other instead of fearing each other. And that's what's going on. That's what has been going on. The masculine has been afraid. The light has been afraid of getting doused. How do you put out fire? Well, you pour water on it, or you kick earth over the top of it and you smother it. So the masculine has been afraid of being smothered, of being, brought down. And so that's been part of this patriarchal, this has been the misapplication of the masculine energy, has been dominating, suppressing, suffocating, burning, the feminine for 6,500 years. And this creates Black Moon Lilith in Cancer, the angry, raging feminine. And whether it's the feminine in the form of a woman, or in the form of the earth, or in the form of the oceans, or what's here in the present moment, it's anger and rage happening. And it's square Uranus. Uranus is what? Uranus in Aries. Aries is the man. Uranus is new. This is time for a new masculine. The emergence of a new relationship of the masculine that is awakened. Uranus, Prometheus, the third eye. We are awakening to a new masculine. And that new masculine, has to really be able to what? Opposite Mercury, listen to the rage of the feminine. Has to be there, has to prove, after 6,500 years of domination and suppressing of the feminine, that he is open and ready to listen and ready to be guided. And it's not going to threaten his masculinity. I've been reading up on this stuff now. I'm really excited. I will share some links to, Social Alchemy? Mark Joseph's Sarah. I've gotten into some of his stuff. I'm going to be doing a webinar, Relationship and Intimacy in the Horoscope, coming next month, an 8-week webinar. I'm preparing for that. I'm doing another webinar on September 20th with the Evolutionary Astrology Network. I'll give you a link to that. It's all on my website, newparadigmastrology.com. It's just like this is the time. Venus has gone into Scorpio now. We've got this Saturn conjunct the North Node in Scorpio. We need to talk about, the masculine and the feminine, the relationships, the sexuality, the merging, or the battling and the fighting. And this is, the downside of what has been going on and needs to stop. And we need to stand. But we need to have a new vision. We need to become our own authorities. We need to show a way, point the way. And this is the problem for the masculine. Why is the masculine afraid of the feminine? Because true masculinity has been lost. Men have to discover their masculinity. We are born out of the womb. We're born into a woman's world. We go right to the breast and are suckled by a woman. It's a woman's world, water and earth. The man is the foreign light element, coming from the stars or the sun or whatever. And it's just like, whoa, what is this? So man has to discover himself. Every man has to discover his relationship to masculinity. And until he's got his ground, his feet on solid ground of his own power and his own truth, it is in himself, and his self is a warrior for truth and life, then he's living in a woman's world, and he can fear it or be guilty or ashamed of what he is not even aware of or in touch with, one way or the other. Yeah? There's this imbalance and this inability to connect, to honor, to listen to be guided by the feminine, which is this subjective feeling, intuitive source of wisdom and truth. So, and of course the women, the feminine, has been, terrified of the masculine, and the women can actually be terrified of their own femininity. Now, there's a lot of this, rebirthing of the feminist movement. It's, a lot of women, dressing up and looking and acting like men in very many ways, feeling like, well, maybe, we're going to be heard. Get in, our anger wants us to, combat or, raise conflict with these sleeping giants, these men that are asleep. We're going to wake them up by being more of them. I don't know. So, there can also then be women that are afraid to be soft, erotic, wild, penetrable, in touch with all of their water, all of their emotions, all of their physical desires and sexual nature. Shut down, close off, harden, like the man with the sun and the light and the air drying them out. We don't want the women to dry out. And some of the men are getting too soft and gushy and warm. So the new man, anyway, I don't want to get too lost in this. But now is this grand cross. And the main thing that I want to say is it's time for the feminine to rage. And this anger creates. We've had enough of patriarchy, of external domination, of laws, rules, orders, machines created by mostly males, war machines, banking machines, hospital and operating machines. And it's time to get into life again, juicy movements of cells and blood and passion, and get our hearts beating again. So Lilith wants to come out. Lilith is angry. She wants to rage. She wants to fire up. She wants to be heard. Squaring this Mercury in Libra, opposing this Uranus, squaring, Uranus. She just came and picked up that opposition from Pluto. The volcano is ready to blow, is what I'm saying. And the perfect timing I could see of being, like earthquakes or the start of a war. It's time to say enough patriarchy, enough war, enough playing around for oil and money and power. Get out of it, get off of it, get over it, knock it off. So this is a time. Saturn, it's time to take our destiny, north node of the moon, into our own, become our own agents of power. Shiva. Destroy the war machine. It's time to put an end. So these rebellions of the 1960s, it's time for more rebellion. It's time to say, stop it. We've had enough. We want a new future, a new paradigm, a new planet that's clean, healthy, and safe for our children and their children, and the trees and the flowers and the birds and the animals. This is a time of, this is a depressing week. We can read the papers. We can go into our feelings. If you're connected to the collective unconscious, you're not jumping around for joy right now. Nobody is. Internally, we're all facing our shadow of what we've suppressed, of what we've been afraid of. We've been afraid of the opposite sex. We've been afraid of integrating ourselves. We've been afraid of speaking our truth. And, we can feel guilty and ashamed and small and want to crawl. But I'm saying now's the time. Mercury's coming out into this opposite, and Mars is in Leo. Time to stand, the masculine, in the realm of the king. It's time to rip it. Yeah, man. This is going on for a while now. This Grand Cross is going to be active for the next 6, 8 months, 9 months. Yeah? Mars is going to come around to it. Jupiter's going to be moving around. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on creating this Grand Cross with Lilith, Pluto, and Uranus. So, mantra for the week. Yeah. I have a right to be angry and get fired up. When giving voice to the goddess who's had enough. For by piercing the silence imposed from without, we create a new world we can get excited about. I get a kick out of these mantras, Yeah. I have a right to be angry and get fired up when giving voice to the goddess who's had enough. For by piercing the silence imposed from without, we create a new world we can get excited about. The pen is mightier than the sword. Get on the internet. Get out there. Get in touch with your throat chakra, with your Mercury, with your communication. This is a time. This is the time. We are the time. Now is the time. It's time for the revolution. It's time to get going and get all these thoughts and ideas and concepts and channelings of all the love nature grounded, real, Saturn conjunct the North Node. We are in third dimensional consciousness. Make it happen. Namaste, aloha, so much love, buenos dias, pura vida.